mascota te come Purina? Well, if hindi ayaki abo ibo mascota por gana in grande que Purina Possum Holidays. Purina Pro Plan, Dog Chow, Friskies, Fancy Feast y Hobby Marca Más. Compra dos productos valorando mínimo 25 florín y gana 1,000 florín cash. Cool prices y un haya gratis de comida para tu mascota. Purina Possum Holidays. Visita a Facebook page de compra para más información.
I'm Carolina, and I am the host of Sincerely Carolina, a series of educational conversations about current social issues with local and international experts. Make sure you tune in every Saturday on Cool FM from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Bye! Happy Saturday. Mitas espero ko po dati un buon simang, whatever that means to you. Mitas espero ko po simang todo produktivo, of relax, of whatever it is that you needed it to be. Abeno sabay hasi un episodio na Ingles. Anto por dato baiti un pari palabra de holandés. Pero manera po sa no está costuma di code switch. No solamente riba Sincerely Carolina, pero naruba en general des. Be a little patient. Me quiero cargo sa tour ko sa live riba YouTube y Facebook di Cool FM y di Sincerely Carolina. Anto si bono por escucho full episode ta okay, bo por rewatch and replay anytime. Riba po social media, pero también durante si mango por hanya riba Spotify, Apple Podcast, or whatever your favorite podcasting platform ta. Paisunan ko ta Vox Sincerely Carolina tour si Mang algun si Mang pasa mi karsat do si Mang pasa nosso dating Fundação Respetami uno ko nossa papia riba e tópico di online safety pa mucho nang ihobing nang to nossa papia eigenlijk kun tiki in the broad sense di kiko ta e problematica nang kuta bindilanti anto den quadro di esa aqui hábito di mundial pa combati crimen organizado anto mirando con nossa papia di problema ko ting online e un dia tema na dia aya aqui também mundial para combater crimen organizado, crimen que passa digitalmente. Nós vai papel tiki riba com essa aqui tá situação tanto com essa target muito nang e hobby nang pensar que nós usa busca profissional de região ku hasi hobby investigação e tem informação eigenlijk di local ku ta crimen organizado em diferente área. Dus nós lo papel tiki di com essa aqui tá situação de forma digital, anto com muito nang e hobby nang tawaro targeted de diferente forma. Despa emotivo nós lo tava papiando na inglês anto me espero que eta insightful. Pero me consigo me quero bisa danke na my awesome sponsors for allowing me to talk about whatever I want to talk about. Thank you to La Roche-Posay, to Total and Purina. I appreciate you so much. Anto of course Cool FM for the space for me to talk about whatever I want to talk about. And today it's about organized crime, digital crime, especially how it targets youth and children. So without further ado, I will let today's guest introduce herself. So Angela, tell us who you are and why you're here today.
Hi, good morning. First of all, thank you so much for the invitation for the special day, International Day that we're having today. And first of all, to all listeners, thank you so much for listening to this topic. And first, my apologize for my English. I'm doing my very best. Sometimes I will struggle, but let's do this. It's a really important topic that we have to discuss about. My name is Angela Persat, and I'm from Pronat Caribbean Consultancy. Pronat Caribbean Consultancy stands for projects, research and advisement. I'm the owner of this business, and what I now do is, in order of clients, doing some projects, not only on Aruba but also in the Caribbean region.
Thank you so much, Angela. And I think the topic of organized crime is very broad, and usually when people think about it, they think about maybe drugs, weapons, like what we usually think of as but in this day and age of the digital world.
Exactly.
Maybe some people have started to notice that there are more like hacks, there are more organized attempts to destabilize either an organization or a country from the digital aspect. And I think that when we think of organized crime, we tend to always think of it in that sense, right? Maybe anonymous type of level, right?
Exactly.
Where they're going to get data, but I don't think that we often think of organized crime affecting individual people, especially when we think of people in Aruba. We have this mindset of like, why would we be targeted? Like, why are we important? Who would care to target individual Arubans? And then, further than that, why would they target our youth or our children? So I know that you have some very interesting terms that you would like to discuss before we move forward into this conversation. So maybe we can start with that just to set the tone of, in the context of today's conversation. What are we going to be thinking about?
Exactly, thank you. Like you are saying, organized crime is a very big word. It can involve, like you say, drugs, trafficking, weapons, and so on. One of the specialties that I have is human trafficking. And human trafficking is a worldwide crime involving exploitation of a person for profit, like sexual, labor, or criminal exploitation. Men, women, and children of all ages and all backgrounds can become a victim of this crime. Traffickers often use also, they're making fake promises or pretending that they have a great job for them, job opportunities that they are offering them to trick and coerce their victims. One of these topics, human trafficking, is really, really important, but because this crime is worldwide growing, and it's really growing, but not only in person. Since years, it moved to social media as well. And that is why we are here today to talk about. For a small explanation, what is exploitation? Exploitation is when someone or a group of people tricks or misleads you. Think about our youth, for example, into doing things under coercion, under force. A topic for difference, what I can tell you, is sexual exploitation, for example, involves forcing someone to provide sexual services. And while criminal exploitation involves forcing someone to commit criminal offenses, such as theft or drug trafficking. And the last topic that concerns a lot of worldwide the young ones.
Okay.
Because they're young, from the age of 12 till 23, they are developing themselves. But since COVID, we all discovered during Corona, we had to stay at home. Everybody was behind the laptop or the children at the mobile. And then it starts also with TikTok. And after TikTok, they were looking for the dance clips. Hey, I like this. Wow. And it went further, like to Snapchat or Instagram, but it depends on the age. And sexual crimes have become a growing concern in the digital age. It's still growing as a rapid technological progress continues to create a new form of violence and victimizing. These offenses affect society unevenly, total society, but we have to know the signs, we have to be alert. But first we have to know what are the signs for being alert. And it's striking more intensely among minors and other vulnerable group.
I think one of the interesting things, UNESCO Caribbean was doing a survey, and I often work with them in little projects and a lot on dissemination at the local level to make sure that Aruba is well represented when we think about international policies or as they set out, projects. And they not too long ago, I think it closed yesterday, and I was happy to see that the Aruban people met the minimum requirement of surveys filled, so yay. But in the survey, they were talking about this, about how women and girls were targeted in the online world and the AI world in a way that was feeling disproportionate towards men. And for example, the coercion that was happening online, where girls were being threatened with so many things. When we often think about compromising pictures and videos, for example, but also how profile theft became an organized thing. I personally had that, where a couple of months ago there were 5 fake profiles with my pictures, and it's a monster you cannot fight, and this happens on an organized level, right?
Exactly.
And so I really like that they were doing this survey, because it also helps us get better context of our own, Caribbean perspective, and how the islands experience it. But like you said, it's what are the signs? And as I was filling out the survey myself, I realized oh my gosh, it actually does put pressure, right? The stress that comes with it, whether you talk about it or you don't talk about it, who do you talk about it? I have a bunch of fake profiles. How do you act after that?
Exactly.
And I'm an adult, obviously. So, I am responsible for myself, but it's would a teen tell their parents if something online is happening that seems threatening? Because it almost seems like the online world is not real. So are you going to make that problem real by talking about it? And it was very interesting, because on the online level, I share that there's fake profiles. If people would text me, I would be can you please report it, etc. And it was causing me stress, but I didn't have a conversation really about it in my real offline world. This is stressing me out, and this is concerning or annoying. And so I try to always imagine, if it's hard for me, or I didn't put that energy and effort, what about teenagers who are struggling with things that are maybe fishy or becoming aggressive, and they do not dare to talk about it, right? So maybe we can talk a little bit about how criminal recruitment happens a little bit, and how the online approach happens, because it's not they're on the phone or on the chat and immediately tell you hey, do you want to sell drugs for me? It doesn't happen like that.
Exactly.
So can you maybe tell us about how that approach happens?
Yes, exactly. The familiar word for everyone is grooming.
Yes.
Everyone knows grooming. But what does grooming means?
Mm-hmm.
It's that the person, the criminal or the trafficker, is preparing to get someone's trust.
Mm-hmm.
And from who do they get the trust easily?
Mm-hmm.
It's from the young ones, the minors, because they are all day long, for example, online gaming, on Snapchat, they are chatting with each other, but they are exposing themselves so open and wide that the traffickers and criminals are searching online for their target. And the target of the criminals are persons who are vulnerable. It can be minors, but especially minors, because they are reacting too fast, because they are thinking, hey, I got a friend. They want a lot of followers on their Snapchat account, for example. And when they got some requests, they click on okay. But they don't know, and they don't see what kind of person is at the other side, because the perpetrator is acting like if he's their same age. They are talking the same language of the children. So that's the way that they are getting the trust first. And when that happens, the ultimate goals can be different, like you told us right now. But often it includes sexual abuse, including obtaining images, extortion. That is what is happening now, or obtaining other sensitive information from you. Because since the internet came, it has its pro and cons.
Yes.
But the cons are getting more, and especially for the organized crimes, for the criminals. They are 20 steps ahead. They are thinking very fast, but their target group is worldwide now. It used to be a small group. They approached the young ones. They went to the schools, for example, or going to the discos to recruit the girls. But now they can reach everyone online, and everyone is acting like, especially the minors, look how many friends I have worldwide. And that is the danger. That is where it starts with grooming. But they are so vulnerable that especially minors don't see the risk of it. They don't see what is the reason that person is contacting them. And that is something that we have really be alert about.
And I think, it's like you said, it used to be that the dangers were physical, like
Exactly.
creepy lurkers at school. And those were easier. I don't want to say easy, but easier to pinpoint, to see, and to sort of create boundaries, physical boundaries, to keep children and youth safe. Whereas now, those boundaries have become harder and harder to put, because
Exactly.
even if children don't have like a smartphone yet, they doesn't mean that they don't have an account. They might just have an account with a friend's phone, and it's very easy. They can just block all the parents, and the parents don't even know, right? Or
Yes.
the adults in their lives, they don't even know that the
They are
account.
so smart. They are so smart.
They are. And like you said, they are at a point in their life where their brain isn't fully developed, so they
Exactly.
don't assess the risk the same way. But I think that very interestingly, there are so many different ways how this is done, right? Like you said, the conversation can become compromising, and then it's used for extortion. But also in the gaming industry, for example, asking. A lot of youth might have access to their parents' credit cards to buy, for example, gaming credit, etc.
Yes.
And that is also being coerced, and that's something in the gaming world where maybe boys are a little bit more targeted than girls, right? And it seems like a very innocent thing to be like, oh yeah, you give your child credit for gaming, but you have to be on top of it, right? And you have to check continuously if the spending is reasonable or not. And I think that that it has become harder and harder, and we talked about this in the episode with Fundación Respetami, for
Okay.
parents to stay on top of
Yes.
everything that's happening on time enough. Like, I have personally had my nieces buy $200 worth of like in-app purchases, and then by the time I see it, I'm
Yeah.
like,
What
what do I
yeah.
do? And like, how did this happen? It's just a day, right, where they want to buy the things so they can continue playing. So I can only imagine, like, you have to be so on top of things, and
Exactly.
it's insane.
I have the same example. Like my niece, she is now 18 years old. I asked her, "Hey, how did you get on Snapchat? At what age? It starts now. It's becoming earlier. She started, for example, at the age of 16, but." It's now getting younger,
Yeah.
like 11, 8 or 9 years old, like Snapchat. WhatsApp is a no-go for the children right now. They don't use
No,
WhatsApp.
they don't.
only use Snapchat for
Yep.
chatting
Yep.
and TikTok for checking the videos,
Yep.
like the dance clips or something else. But when they are getting older, like my niece, for example, they are switching over to Instagram. So you can see that some of the platforms are attracted for special ages.
Yep.
Like Snapchat are the young ones till the age of 16, for example. And as from age of 16, they are going to Instagram. Because Instagram, like you already also know, you can chat, you can share videos, everything on it. But with Snapchat, if you post one message, you can decide, if I want to post a message, it can disappear right away, or it can disappear within 24 hours. But let's not forget that there are also children at schools, for example. I'm not especially talking about Aruba, but worldwide, that there are children who are extorting other
Yes.
classmates.
Yep.
And this is the world that we are in right now, and that makes it difficult. That's why, like you said with Respetami, it's really precious that you had the conversation with them. For a parent like us, we have to talk with our children. What are you doing online? Who did you meet online? Did you meet new friends? Just bring the conversation open to get the trust. And the 50-minute quality time is really, really important for us as parents also, because you have to know what is going on in this age right now, especially with the digital age.
And how extortion, for example, when we
Yeah.
talk about classmates, right? It can look so differently, and the goals can be monetary in some cases, but it can also be about having compromising things on other people.
Yes.
You know, I love how my oldest niece is now a young adult, and so she tells me more. She feels more comfortable sharing things.
That's good.
Yeah, it
That's
is.
good.
It is. I mean, she's always felt like I have been her trusted adult, which is really nice, and I always talk about this. But in the sense that she will now tell me things that maybe, you know, do not relate to her, but she will tell me like more in a gossipy sense. But I appreciate it because it gives me context into what's up. And something that she was mentioning too, it's like, you know, when she was still in high school, they had like a kid who was selling drugs, and the cops eventually got involved, etc. But how that person was obviously recruited, you know, by adults to do that. But how that young person also began like recruiting other young people.
Yes.
And I think it's very important for us to not forget that even if a child is continuing to perpetrate these things, right, this criminal activity, they are still children, and they are still, you know, victims of something bigger than them.
Exactly.
But it makes it harder for the other children to sort of assess it as dangerous, because they see a peer, right? It's coming from a peer. It's not this creepy man adult being weird. It's their classmate, but it is part of a larger organization,
It
right?
can be. It can be, exactly. But it's really attempted that if somebody tells you, do you want to earn some money, quick money?
Yeah.
And that makes it easier for them. Hey, and that's why parents or adults has to be alert about the children and see the signs of their behaviors or the clothes. How did they get a new jacket or new shoes or new iPhone? How did you get it? Sometimes it's really difficult in what kind of situation each family is in. We have to really think about it. But there are many children being, how do you say that, approached. It can be personally at schools or somewhere that they meet, or within a chat group that they are with so many people in it. And the criminal can ask, hey, do you want to have some vapes, for example? Vapes, how can a minor pay for a vape? They want to use it, but how can they pay it? So the criminal is getting also the trust to become a kind of friend.
Yeah.
Hey, you want to try something? Do you want to try it? Here, you get one from me. Next time, I will give you one for free as well. Try it. And the third time, it can be happen that the criminal will ask them when they got them in the grid, hey, if you want to have the vape again, you have to do this for me. Drug trafficking, for example, or you have to. It can be done in a way that that the child or the minor or an adult is addicted to something, and they need they need that stuff, and the criminal is using that because they want to get the power of it, but it can be done in also coercion, to be forced. And it's possible that people are being forced for criminal activities to do that because they are being threatened. If you don't do that, I will do this to your mother or father or your sister or brother. The threats that they are making, that makes a child or an adult doing that illegal act, and that makes it difficult. And talk about it, it's really important, but sometimes it's really so difficult for the person because of the shame. Like they and sometimes young ones, for example, don't know where to get some help. That's why it's important to talk about it at schools, with everybody, with all the parents as well. And like we are also talking about offline and online approach, this is a term from these days. Offline is
in person,
and the online approach is what we are in now into it. It used to be the personal approach, but since internet, and especially since COVID, like I said, it increased enormously worldwide. The usage of online platforms like social medias, gaming, messaging apps are the search and approaching tools for the exploiter or a criminal. Why? Why are they doing that? Internet offers a large, like I said before, a large reach of people worldwide. And all profiles of everyone, like if you have a Facebook account or Snapchat account, all profiles, if someone has an account, you're like an open book for the criminals. They are searching, they are checking all the profiles, they are looking, they are targeting, especially minors. How many pictures does this person have on their profile? They are checking the pictures. Is the person, how is the looks of that person? They are looking to the vulnerability of the person. Are they at a photo always alone or with many friends? If they see, for example, a photo that the person is often alone, that can be a target. That can be a vulnerable person from a broken family, for example, or this person needs attention.
Also, something that I think was very interestingly mentioned was that it's not always even like the person's profile itself, because some parents might even be like, oh, well, my child doesn't even post anything, or they don't even have any pictures, but then the parents do post a lot, or the parents do share a lot, right? And again, it's not trying to tell parents not to share or whatever, but just being conscious that adult behavior online can also be used. My youngest niece, for example, she went through a phase where she's a teen now, and when she was younger, like she would always want to take pictures, etc. And like I would post them on my stories, etc. when we were hanging out. And then when she started high school, she told me like that I cannot post pictures without her seeing them or without her being okay with them, because she said, it's like kids at my school either follow you or they might look up your page, and she's like, because they know you speak at the radio and you're popular, she'd say something like that. And then and at the beginning I felt like personally attacked, and I'm like, okay, but I'm just sharing stuff that we've always shared and that we've always liked, but it was being used for her to feel a certain way. So something so small like trick-or-treating, for example, last year, and she was like, oh, some kids think it's like silly that I still do that. And so it was kind of like, oh my gosh, right, it's the things that we share with fondness, with with happy thoughts, that can be used to target children, maybe not criminally, but even on a social emotional level where they might not fit in with their friends. So it's understanding the impact that whatever we put out can be used negatively, and it's
but you can't stop this. You can't stop this, and there's a special term for it. It calls sharenting. When adults or grandfather, grandmother shares the pictures, of course you want to do that, but you have to keep in mind always. If I share these pictures, like my child is on the beach or something else, please think that other people, like criminals, are checking your profile as well. Like I'm always saying, till the day of today, banks are being targeted. If they can hack a bank, why can they hack your account?
Yep.
We have to be reasonable. We have to be realistic. That do that, but do it with precautions. Be aware that everything that you post. Be aware that there can be a consequence. That is really important to keep that in mind, because we cannot stop this. We really cannot stop this. And for example, via online, the usage of online platforms, that is really a hype by the young ones and the minors especially. We have several online gamings that sounds familiar, like FIFA, Discord, Roblox, or Fortnite. Roblox, Fortnite was, from my knowledge, first it was Roblox, then the children used Fortnite, but now Roblox is again hype, really hyping in that group. But during an online gaming, when the children are gaming or adults gaming, they can chat with somebody, with the whole world, but they cannot see the person who they are chatting with, and that makes it really difficult. For an adult, for a parent, it's really important that, of course, the children are playing online gaming. I'm playing also online gaming, but I love it for keeping my mind.
Okay, good.
Setting my mind up. But I really want to know, what are the children doing online?
Yes.
How does it look? And once I tried it again, somebody came in the chat. Suddenly, I was thinking, hey, how is it possible that you can reach me, but your account is really open?
Yeah.
And that makes it difficult. When it starts, there are, for example, your child is on online gaming, and they are starting a chat with the person at the other side. The person of the other side is doing, if they are the same age, so they are talking the same language. The criminal is trying to get the trust first, and if they have for a while the trust with each other, they are playing often more games, chatting more, then it moves, then the conversation moves to, hey, so we go to WhatsApp or Snapchat. Then you see it moves to the personal contact.
Yes.
And after the Snapchat, or when they are chatting with each other via WhatsApp, the chats are getting more different, that they are asking for more about the person. How are you feeling? And the child is telling, for example, I'm got in fight with my parents and they're not listening to me. So the criminal is thinking, hey, I need that trust from that child. In the meanwhile, that they are trusting each other and they are thinking, hey, we are real friends. The third step is that that they're meeting in person. And then everything is happening. The child cannot say, I'm scared, or in between the chats, the perpetrator is asking, hey, send some pictures of yourself, or I will do that too. They are not sending the picture of themselves, of course, but sometimes, like AI right now, you can manipulate all the images that they can have, but they can put your face on the body that they are sending. And with one click, for example, a child is receiving that, hey, that is my classroom. With one button, they sending it to the whole school, for example. If the child with of the image sees, hey, that is my face on it, but that is not me, they are getting ashamed of themselves to go to school. And that's why it's so important that the child can speak about it with the parents, speak about it with the mentor of the school. This is happening to me. And that's why we have to be alert, because the conversations are moving from online gaming to Snapchat, WhatsApp, or other chat platforms. Eventually, they are meeting each other in person, and it doesn't have to be a local person. It can also be somebody out of the Caribbean region. So breed. Oh, sorry for my Dutch.
You're fine.
So that is a thing that we have to think about it. It doesn't have to be only a local person. It can be everybody. And what I want to say to the listeners, please keep in mind, a victim can be everyone, especially of human trafficking. It can be your daughter, your child. It can be somebody close to you, your closest friend, or your parents evenly can happen. But at the other side, the perpetrator can also be everybody you know. It can be the taxi driver or somebody who works in a hotel, you know?
Literally everybody, and that's the thing, right? And I think it's interesting also to see, because I listened to a lot of news podcasts and stuff, and I also listened to an episode about how this type of recruitment is also used, not even as that person being the end point, but in this episode it was somebody who was very tech savvy. They met in like a gaming platform situation. They then moved on to Snapchat, and they were asked, like, do you want to make some quick money? And because they knew that the youth, it was like a teenager on the other side, was very tech savvy, they involved that youth in like online criminal activity. And it seemed like a very we're just friends and we're doing it for us both. But it was part of like a huge organization. And then that kid was stuck, because after it did it once, then the other person was like, you want to do it again? And then the kid was like, I don't know, it feels like what I did was wrong. And then they were like, it is wrong, and if you don't do it again, I'm gonna tell the cops on you, right? So then it becomes like a loop, and it took a lot from that kid, and I don't remember where that kid was from, but from that kid to decide to eventually open up, because he felt it was a boy. He felt like he was going deep in like he realized that what he was doing could have serious consequences. But then he also realized, okay, I'm a kid, so worst case scenario, it will be okay for me, but I need to get out. And then eventually he spoke to the parents, etc. But the type of threats that were happening, they already had information about his schedule, his parents' schedule. They knew where his parents worked. So then they would be like, oh, we're going to go to your mom's job. We're going to go to your dad's job,
them
right?
Feel so threatened that if something happens to my mom or dad, it's on me. And it's going so far, but the criminal can also start only with extortion. It's familiar that the perpetrator or somebody who's acting like a criminal can ask more the girls for the images.
Yes.
Girls are more threatened by the photos that they have been sent because you have some terms. Sexting and sextortion. Sexting, the difference between sexting and sextortion is that by sexting, the girl or boy is sending the picture vrijwillig.
Consensually. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. They are sending that on their own. But with sextortion, the criminal got the picture from somewhere else or from AI.
And that's also how younger people can be used, because going back to this podcast, there was there was also a show, and I can't remember the name right now, where it was like a small town and a young boy was being used by somebody online who kept threatening him for him as a peer to get pictures from peers. So it seemed like they were sexting because he was also sending pictures to girls in his high school and getting pictures to from girls in his high school. But the pictures from the girls from the high school were being sent to this third person, right, without their knowledge, because he was being extorted, because at the beginning he also sent some pictures, right, and those were being used, and that's how you see how it just becomes a spider web of where
it's exactly
they feel like they don't have a way out
anymore.
And
everything that they are putting on Snapchat, for example, it also for some person it becomes a business, because everybody that puts their picture image on Snapchat, somebody else can see your account, and they are downloading your pictures and sell it to somebody else.
Exactly.
There are people from the age of 16, 17, 18 years old that they are doing that. Why do I have to go to school? I'm earning weekly enough money.
Wow.
This is the way that we have to think about it, because like I said, we cannot stop it, but it's only growing. And how traffickers, for example, my specialty, come in contact with vulnerable people is mostly via Snapchat, Instagram, or online gaming. And the current trends, also here in Aruba, but in the Caribbean region especially, we have Aruba, Curacao, St. Martin. We have the same issues.
Okay.
Not only worldwide, but it affects also our islands. Young people are extorted, blackmailed, or threatened, like we just spoke about it, with intimate images or messages, also created with AI, or being groomed, or for criminal activities, like for selling drugs trafficking. They're not using WhatsApp, but the communication is only going via Snapchat, because you don't need a number for it. You only need a Wi-Fi, and you can chat with the whole world.
And I think that, something you mentioned earlier, and I think it's important to kind of go back to it. It is being aware of things your child has. And, hopefully that is already something that you do. But I think that privacy is very important. I am not telling parents to not respect, their child's privacy,
exactly.
but finding that line between respecting privacy and also being, aware that it's your responsibility as the adult to keep the child safe.
Yes.
Because children can hide stuff too, right?
Yes.
They can hide gifts. They can hide things that they have been getting. Something like a vape, for example, is something that's very easy to hide. So I do think that, it is important, especially, if parents are seeing warning signs, if their kids all of a sudden are spending more time online, or if they've
Yes.
become retracted, to maybe once in a while do that sweep search, I want to call
Yes.
it, you know.
Yes.
And if you find a diary, maybe don't go and read it, but you know,
No.
look for the things that are concerning, right? If you find random cash, if you find, you know, gadgets that you didn't buy.
Or their behavior.
Yep.
Check that, because for the listeners, if I can talk to the listeners, and to you too also, why recruitment? Why are people being recruited? It's for the profit, and they are using other people for the profit. They can exploiting the people for profit, and it's going so far, so unhumiliated. It's against the human rights what they are doing. It's really horrible what people going through. Like I said, can be a man, woman, a girl, boy, child. It's really horrible what's going on, and how a child can become how to become a victim of your own behavior. You think, hey, there are no risk, but most of the topics there is a consequence. And especially for the minors, they don't understand the risk. They are looking for money. They want to be, they want to belong to a group, to being tough. Hey, look how tough I am. And that is the thing that we have always keep in mind. And they want to show, especially a kind of status, like at school. Some children are being bullied. That is also a very important topic. But if somebody is a possible victim, it's really difficult to leave.
Yep.
Because they're afraid or they don't see any other perspective. Young people don't dare to talk about it, even also adults don't dare to talk about it, or they don't know what options and support are available to them. And like I told you before, girls are often forced to send more nude photos or videos in exchange for not sharing their intimate images, and boys are demanded to transfer money. So, like you told before,
with the gaming,
with the
and stuff like that.
gaming, with the credit card that they are asking for the parents, you have to ask, hey, why are you?
If
why are
maybe
you
they're
asking?
spending, you know, even if you trust your children and if you've given them the credit card and stuff, if you see a sudden change in spending, because they usually will have like a pattern, right? How much they would spend in games and stuff, especially if they've been long in it, if you've created a trusting relationship where they're allowed to buy certain things. If you see a sudden change, I think that should be like an alert already, right?
Exactly.
Like, why are you spending more on this game now? You know?
Exactly, and like I said before, we can't stop this any longer. Everyone really needs to realize this. So thank you, Caroline, for bringing up this topic. Parents, schools, care providers, social platforms, and all professionals here in Aruba or in the Caribbean region who are directly involved with this subject or may be involved, be alert, because we need to monitor what is happening, and it's changing too quickly. You know, it used to be something that is like lover boys. It used to be in person for several years ago. When they recruited a girl, they met a girl at school, for example, in person. Girl fell in love with a guy, and it took about 4, 5, or 6 weeks when they are forced the girl to do sexual services. But now, with the online world, it happens within 24 hours.
Yep.
It's really terrible
Yep.
how fast this
It
goes.
can happen, exactly.
And the warning, I'm looking at the time, and
I was going to ask you if you have something you want to leave
yes.
us with. Yes.
Sorry for everybody. I
No,
can
you're
talk
fine.
hours on this
you're
topic.
fine, you're fine.
The
So-
warning signs for parents and educators. Please, you can see some of the behavior changes. Mostly girls from now, and keep in mind, like Carnival is coming up. It's going crazy on the social apps. You
Perfect place to meet up, right?
It's perfect place. You can
yeah.
you can see the changes in suddenly behavior, or anxious, or if they are being stressed, if they are being pointed to be threatened. You can see some signs of the uiterlijke kenmerken.
How they look, how they dress.
Look. Exactly. How they did the makeup, everything. But also physical injury or self-harm, financial signals. Suddenly, like we said before, how did you get that iPhone? Or how did you get a jacket or new shoes? Those are the small signs to watch for it. And the last words that I want to tell to you and every listener, 50-minute quality time per day is really, really important. Ask how their day was online also. If they experience anything online or met new people. Talking about boundaries helps. Punishing a child can have the opposite effect.
Yep. Where it creates another opportunity for bonding, right?
Exactly.
And I know it's hard, and I know, and that's also something that children keep in mind, right? If they're gonna come to you and they know that they're gonna be punished, or they know that they're, and I know it's hard because yes, of course, discipline is very important, but finding that very important balance between discipline and trust is important, right? It's crucial, and it can make all the difference between trusting or not. I do want to leave us with something. Thinking about this, I have been rewatching all the seasons of Stranger Things with my husband as we prepare for the new season. And yesterday, something came to my mind as we were watching it, right? It's like all these kids and the adults going through this adventure, and, it's like they have like their separate adventures that they're going through, but they always come together. So it's a very nice way of seeing how pop culture can show us positive relationship between children and the adults in their lives, where yes, there are battles that you can fight yourself and challenges that you can face yourself, but when the big monster comes, it's like, please go to the adults so they can help you, right?
Exactly. Please do so.
So I think that that's also important. It's recognizing that yes, children are resilient, and yes, there are battles that they can handle themselves, but there will come a point where they're gonna need the adults in their lives, and then hopefully you have created that bond where they can come to you for that moment, right?
Because the children are our future, right?
Yes. So
and we have to lead them on the safety.
Exactly. Angela, thank you so much for
thank you so
for
much.
coming and spending some time with me on Saturday morning, and I hope that for the listeners it was also a very insightful conversation. Thank you for the work that you do. And yes, if people want to find you, how can they find you online?
How they can find me online? I'm on Facebook at Pronat Consulting. Pronat Caribbean Consultancy.
Okay.
But if you want to just ask Caroline, and she knows how to find me.
Okay, awesome. So if you have any questions.
Thank you.
As I always say, if you have any questions, you can always send them to me and I might be able to answer you or simply relay you to the person who we just had a conversation with. Sibo, catch episode aqui towards the end. Maneira para reparar nós estamos papiando na inglês. Na começamento, me mencionar que alguns semana passada nós tivemos uma conversação com a Fundação Respetame sobre o tópico de online safety and AI e muita e-hobbying não. Hábito Dia Mundial para combater crime organizado. Nós aqui para focus riba eigenlijk dia tema ng international dia aya aqui com o crime online. Anto com essa aqui tem impactar hobbying não. Das ayo nós sabay um tiki mas leu de conversação aqui com um profissional de Caribe de área aqui. Anto pe motivo nós aqui faz episódio aqui na inglês. Se você escuta towards the end, então você interessado para escutar over dia aqui, vou por aí episódio back unjis. Riba Kula Fam so Facebook e so YouTube, também de Sincerely Carolina. E durante esse mang riba o favorite podcasting platform, seja da Spotify or Apple Podcast. I'm gonna be thanking my awesome sponsors for allowing me to talk about whatever I want to talk about. Awit kung krimen organisa por impactar hobbying ng imucha ng mundo digital. Das danki na total na Purina e na La Roche-Posay. I appreciate you so much. Yes, e nós temos temporada de fim de ano, mas espero que você está preparando de uma forma positiva para aqui. Me quero bisa também que coming weeks nós lo põe um tiki atenção riba tópico de fim de ano também. Nós lo papi um pouco de depressão não que também com fim de ano. Pero until then, lagami sa sitting tópico não que você quer para me squeeze para fim de ano ainda. Anto para mi porhasi sa aqui nós lutin Fundação Respetame aqui parísimang back nós luta papiando também com Jorindi one of a kind cafe nós tem pari tópico nang interessante coming up anto of course mi lohin ka pet episode não somente para Purina ta uni mi sponsors but as you know mi ta pet parent anto mi tayo importante pa papi arriba com the holidays ta impacta nos pop babies anto see. So let me know what you want to hear. I will see you again next week. Mita espero ko esi mango tabing tabong papa tambe. All right, bye.
Hi, I'm Carolina and I am the host of Sincerely Carolina, a series of educational conversations about current social issues with local and international experts. Make sure you tune in every Saturday on Cool FM from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Bye.
Mascota ta come Purina? Well, findi ayaki abo ibo mascota por gana in grande que Purina Possum Holidays. Purina Pro Plan, Dog Chow, Friskies, Fancy Feast e Hobby Marca Mas. Compra dos produtos valorando mínimo 25 florin e gana 1000 florin cash. Cool prices e aya grátis de comida para bu mascota. Purina Possum Holidays. Visita a Facebook page de compra para mais informação. Recibi mais e paga menos junto com Total Savings. Aprovechado o interesse rebaixado e pago mensual mais bom de luna de setembro e outubro. Hace préstamo de 10, de 5, 20 ou até 25 mil florin. Começando na pago na mensual de somente 301 florin. E caminha a por parte com 4 mil florin como préstamo. Para mais